start now?
Yes. Sir, can we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir.
Please go.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, all. Welcome to the final day of the webinar series on alternative therapy, a way of living. Dear participants, I request you to have a pen and paper to note down the information given by the speaker. Today's topic is Itayu, the way of life by Dr. N.K. Parthiban. Sir is the consulting physician at Marudam Integrated Health Clinic. He also works at an R&D and teaches Orthodox Ayurveda to students around the world through Skype. He also practices and teaches personalized Orthodox yoga and Reiki as well. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah. So can I see at least few of you on the screen, on my screen? Is it possible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why this thing keeps on popping up? There's an icon popping up that 9 people have entered, 10 people have entered. So it keeps
Kindly ignore
Shall
that,
I start?
sir. Yes, sir. We are taking care of that. Kindly ignore that. Because you're a co-host, that will appear on your screen.
Okay. So shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Hello everyone. Atma Vanakkam and Namaste. Good morning to one and all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and the faculty of Ethridge College of Microbiology Department people. And today we are going to see something about the way of life, how one should live as per Ayurveda. Being an Ayurveda physician, I would like to express the views of those great sages, how they've advised for each and every individual to live a healthy life. So before starting the session, as usual I do, so whatever you're going to listen for the almost 1 hour, the informations are gathered from various classical Ayurveda literatures and some scientific interpretations, and you are supposed to analyze those informations, and if you feel it is useful and logical, then accept it, or else you can just ignore it. And I've also heard that there are people from various parts of the country, like from Maharashtra, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and so on, and also few people, those who don't understand Tamil, but the majority of the audience are Tamilians, and few of them requested as the presentation be in Tamil, but I want to balance between both, so I'll be speaking in Tamilish. It'll be Tamil as well as in English. Of course, Malayaligal ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. So ഇപ്പം മലയാളികൾക്ക് കുഴപ്പമില്ല, അവർ മനസ്സിലാക്കും ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്, they'll be able to understand. പക്ഷേ North Indianമാര്, sorry, I'm saying that वो जो आदमी North India से है, वो जो तमिल नहीं पता है, उनको बहुत मुश्किल होता है बीच बीच में. माफ कीजिए, or spare me for about few minutes in between that when I'm speaking in Tamil. Of course, I'll be explaining in English as well. And let's get into the session. So the title of today's session is Hitayu, the way of life. Ayurveda expresses the way of life in 2 or 4 different ways. They've named it as Sukha Ayu, Dukkha Ayu, Hita Ayu, and Ahita Ayu. So these are the 4 kinds of life. So all of us will fall under in either of both categories. The word Ayu, Ayuna, Ayul, Tamil, Ayul, it's nothing but life. And the word Sukha, Sugam, happy, a happy life. Dukkha, Dukkam, sad life. Hita, the word hita is nothing but the one which is beneficial, useful, wholesome. Idamana, Tamil sonnapona idamana. So a life which will be useful for oneself as well as for the society is considered as hitayu. And opposite to that is ahitayu. So these are the four kinds of life expressed by explained by our ancient sages. Let's see, focus only on hitayu part. Of course, you may ask why not sukhayu, happy life. Happy life is fine, but if you look into the criteria that is expressed in the definition of happy life, it's more or less selfish and it's temporary in nature. So to be happy forever, an eternal happiness that is blissful, anandamana வாழ்க்கை, பயனுள்ள வாழ்க்கை வாழணும்னா we have to choose hitayu. That's why I put the topic hitayu as the title for today's presentation. Hitayu சொல்லியாச்சு, already I've said it is useful, wholesome life. பயனுள்ள இதமான வாழ்க்கை. நம்ம பயனுள்ள இதமான வாழ்க்கை வாழ்றோமா இல்லையா அப்படிங்கறது எப்படி தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறது? They have certain criteria for it. The definition goes like this. Hitaishinah punarbhutanam parasvaduparatasya satyavadinah shamaparasya parikshagarinو abramatasya trivargam parasparena anupahatam upasevamanasya. Like that it goes on, Sanskrit verse. Let me put in word by word. Hitaishinah punarbhutanam, the one who prays for the wellness of all the living entities. எல்லா உயிரும் இன்புற்று வாழ்க. வள்ளலார் சொன்ன மாதிரி எல்லா உயிரும் இன்புற்று வாழ வேண்டும்ங்கிற அந்த ஒரு நல்லெண்ணம் படைத்த மனிதன். பரஸ்வாதுபரதஸ்ய, the one who does not desire for others, objects or wealth. மற்றவர்களின் பொருளுக்கு இச்சைப்படாமை, ஆசைப்படாம, அடுத்தவன் பொருளுக்கு ஆசைப்படாம இருக்கிறது. சத்தியவாதினக, being truthful, சத்தியத்தை பேசுபவன். சோ இங்க நிறைய டவுட்ஸ் வரலாம். சத்தியம் பேசுறதா, உண்மையவே பேசுறதா? white lie, we call it as white lie. எந்த ஒரு உயிரையும் எந்த ஒரு காலத்திலும் பாதிக்காத உண்மை, பாதிக்காத பொய் உண்மையாகவே கருதப்படுகிறது. So something you might have heard about white lie. When in certain occasion you have to lie in such a way that it helps in the past or present or future. Let me give my own example. Being a physician, I used to come across various patients, and at few patients they will be expressing a very poor prognosis. அதாவது prognosis na அசாத்திய குறிகள், மரண குறிகள் கொண்ட patient வருவாங்க. Say for example, so கல்லீரல் வந்து ஃபுல்லா டேமேஜ் ஆயிடுச்சு, liver cirrhosis ஆயிடுச்சு. Patient with a liver cirrhosis. So கல்லீரல் வந்து ஃபுல்லா டேமேஜ் ஆயிடுச்சு, liver cirrhosis ஆயிடுச்சு. And I can't say you're going to die to that patient directly. It will be harmful. I would say rather, nothing to worry, you'll be all right, you'll get cured. But by sending the patient out and keeping the attender of the patient, I will say the truth. See, the situation is like this. We can't cure it. It's extremely in the final stage. The prognosis is very poor. So I can give some herbs in order to manage symptomatically and reduce the pain. Consider only if you are interested. So in this example, I've lied, but for a good cause. So that's not a lie. A lie becomes harms a living entity in the past or present or future. So like this, we have to take every features of Hita Ayu in a broad sense. So Hitaishinah punarbhutanam parasvadoparadasya satyavadina shamaparasya, the one who loves peace, சமாதானத்தை விரும்புவார்கள். பரீட்சாதாரிணம் examines the things before acting upon it. Okay, last week they have invited me for the seminar. I analyzed whether is it going to be useful for people or not. I examined. Okay, I finally decided, okay, let me go for it. It's going to help. So I just said yes. So before acting upon the things, examining it. Okay, parikshakarinam. Apratasya, the one who is vigilant. Acting upon the things, examining it. He is vigilant, alert, awake. விழிப்புணர்வோடு இருப்பது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்படி வேணாலும் சொல்ல, கண்ணுல விளக்கெண்ணெய் ஊத்திட்டு உட்காரு, கண்ணுல விளக்கெண்ணெய் ஊத்தி இருக்குன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, like that. So being awake, being vigilant. அப்ரமத்தஸ்ய திரிவர்க்கம் பரஸ்பரேன அனுபகதம் உபசேவமானஸ்ய. யார் ஒருவர் அறம், பொருள், இன்பம் இவை மூன்றையும் சமமாக எடுத்துச் செல்வரோ, the one who follows the rule of dharma, artha and kama, that is virtue, wealth and desires, balancing all the three. மதிக்கத்தக்கவர்களை, மதிக்க வேண்டியவர்களை மதிப்பது, அவர்களுக்கு மரியாதை செலுத்துவது. ஞான விஞ்ஞான உபசமசீலஸ்ய, the one who has a good sound knowledge of all the 64 arts and science, apart from that a complete knowledge of atma jnana, that is anma jnana, the knowledge about the soul and the spiritual knowledge. Jnana vijnana upashamashilasya, the one who is tranquil, அமைதியை விரும்புவர். And vriddha upasevinah, serving the elderly people. முதியவர்களுக்கு சேவை செய்பவர். சுநியத ராக ரோஷ ஈர்ஷ மதமான வேகஸ்ய, பேராசை பொய் அடக்கி ஆளும் வல்லமை படைத்தவர். The one who is capable of controlling the passion, anger, grief, jealous, pride, prestige, and so on, the psychological urges. Satatam one who is always engaged tapo jnana prasham and gaining the knowledge. And அதாவது எவன் ஒருவர் தொண்டு செய்வதிலும் சமூகத்திற்கு நலன் புரி தவத்துக்கிக் கொள்ளும் நோக்கம் கொண்டவர். தப்போ ஞான பிரசமன், who believes not non-atheist, and கடவுள் நம்பிக்கை படைத்தவர். தப்போ ஞான பிரசமனித்யஸ்ய ஆத்யாத்மவிதஹ தத்பரஸ்ய லோகமிமும் சாமோ, the one who lives the life, the present life, or the one who acts after thinking about the present life as well as the future life in the sense the moksha, இன்பம், வீடு பேரை அடைவது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க ஸ்பிரிச்சுவாலிட்டியில. And the one who is endowed with a good memory, smriti, mati, and good intelligence, mato hitam ayuruchate, lives a useful, beneficial, healthy life, and the others don't. So if we keenly observe the criteria, it's more focused on social health and spiritual health. But in order to achieve the social health and spiritual health, they have to focus on the physical and mental health at the base. That's what Ayurveda says. Dharmartha kama mokshanam arogyam moolam uttamam. In order to acts by which they can earn the wealth to fulfill their desires. One has to have a good health, which stands at the root of everything. இப்போ நம்ம ஆரோக்கியமா நம்மளுடைய கடை. அதுல முதலாவதாக தினச்சரியா, டெய்லி ரெஜிம். தினசரி ஒரு மனிதன் செய்ய வேண்டிய கடமைகளும் என்னென்ன. இரண்டாவது ரிதுச்சரியா. ரிது மீன்ஸ் சீசன், பருவநிலை. ஏன்னா பருவநிலை ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கிறது இல்லை. பருவநிலைக்கு ஏற்ப நம்ம தான் மாறிக்கணும். நமக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி பருவம் அப்படியே ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்காது. நம்ம ஓகே வெய்ய காலம் அடிக்குது அப்படின்னா உடனே என்ன பண்ணுவோம், நல்ல ஹைட்ரேட்டிங் ஃப்ரூட்ஸை சாப்பிடுவோம். குளிர்காலம் வருது அப்படின்னு என்ன பண்ணுவோம், கொஞ்சம் உஷ்ணத்தன்மை கொண்ட உணவா சாப்பிடுவோம். சோ இந்த மாதிரி பருவத்துக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி நம்மளுடைய வாழ்க்கை முறைகளை எப்படி மாற்றிக்கணுங்கிறத எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றதுதான் ரிதுச்சரியா, சீசனல் ரெஜிம். Each and every season what sort of diet regimes one should follow அப்படிங்கறத எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றது அந்த இரண்டாவது, the second one. Number 3, நவேகான் தாரணிய. There are certain natural urges which gets developed as a result of the normal physiology, which should not be suppressed. இயற்கையாக வரக்கூடிய அந்த urge, அந்த இயற்கை உபாதிகளை அடக்கக்கூடாது. அது 13 இருக்கு. அது என்னங்கிறது நீங்க பாத்துருவோம். இது தேர்ட். நம்பர் 4, இந்திரியோபக்கிரமணியம். அதாவது புலன்களை பற்றின அறிவு மற்றும் புலன் ஒடுக்கத்தை பற்றின முக்கியத்துவம். ஏன் அப்படிங்கிறது the morals, the values, the etiquettes are explained. So இந்த 4ஐயும் ஒரு மனிதன் சரியாக கடைபிடித்தான்னா he or she will live a very healthy life, physically, mentally, socially and spiritually. Okay, now let's enter into the first part, dinacharya, daily regimes. dinacharya காலையில இருந்து நைட் வரைக்கும் ஒரு மனிதன் தினசரி செய்ய வேண்டிய கடமைகள், daily what one should do. The chapter starts with the time of getting up from the bed. It's called Brahma Muhurta. What do you call? Brahma Muhurta. Brahme Muhurta Uttishte Swasto Rakshartam Ayushaha. So they're saying that a healthy person, in order to preserve and protect oneself, should get up in Brahma Muhurta. ஒரு ஆரோக்கியமான மனிதன் தன் ஆரோக்கியத்தை காக்க வேணும்னா அவன் பிரம்ம முகூர்த்தத்துல எந்திரிக்கணுமா. அது என்னையா அது பிரம்ம முகூர்த்தம், நாங்க கல்யாண முகூர்த்தத்தை தான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்றீங்களா? முகூர்த்தம் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு கால அளவு. முகூர்த்தா இஸ் நத்திங் பட் a measurement of time. It is 48 minutes. One muhurta is 48 minutes. And the last phase of the night, that is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., in that the last muhurta is considered as Brahma Muhurta. Of course, the twilight as well as the darkness muhurta is considered. So the last 2 muhurtas, in this context, it is close to 1.5 hours before sunrise. So approximately the Brahma Muhurta starts at 4:30 in the morning and ends at 6 a.m. So we have to get up in Brahma Muhurta. It's very, very important. அதாவது 3 மணிக்கு முனிவன் எந்திரிப்பான், 4 மணிக்கு ஞானி எந்திரிப்பான், 5 மணிக்கு அறிவுள்ள மனுஷன் எந்திரிச்சிருவான், அறிவு கட்ட மனுஷன் 6 மணிக்கு எந்திரிச்சிருவான், 7 மணிக்கு எருமைதான் எந்திரிக்கும், 8 மணிக்கு ஒருத்தர் பெரிய மீசை வச்சுட்டு எருமை மேல உட்கார்ந்துட்டு கதாயத்தை வச்சுட்டு பாசக்கயிறு வச்சுட்டு வருவார். அவருக்கு பேர் யமதர்மராஜான்னு பேர். அவர் தான் எழுப்புவார். I'm not kidding, it's so true. You just go and check the time of heart attack, you'll come to know. Yeah, so, okay, spare me. I was speaking in Tamil continuously. So they used to say in a colloquial language, like at 3 o'clock, the Muni sage will get up. And at 4, the wise, the enlightened one will get up, awake. And by 5, at least by 5, a normal intellectual human being will be awake. And by 6, even a dull idiot will get up by 6 a.m. And after 7, it's buffaloes that awake. And after 8, you don't have to get up. A person will be waiting every day with a big mustache coming on a buffalo with a white robe to take away your life. That's the god of death, Yamadharmaraja. So keep it, remember, first thing you have to make it, you have to get up in Brahma Muhurta. Oh my God, it's midnight for us. I can hear your mind voice, many of your mind voice. It's not midnight, it's the right time to get up to be healthy. If you have to get up in Brahma Muhurta, 4:30, or it can be stretched to 3 a.m. from 3 a.m. onwards. If you have to get up at 4, see, Brahma Muhurta, many of them, manas eppdina, namakku sadhagama eppdiyalla vishayatha thirikka mudiyuma appdi thirichu. That's the power of mind. Actually, they have said that the Brahma Muhurta is between 4:30 and 6 in the morning. Many of them, yeah, I'm getting in Brahma Muhurta. At what time? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, Brahma Muhurta mudinju pochi, it's gone. Then what are you going to gain? You have to see, you have booked tickets for a show, for a movie. And the show starts around 6 p.m. At what time will you be there in the theater? At any cost, by 4:45, 6, or 5:30, you'll be in the theater, right? In the complex of theater. So just for a simple movie, when you are so punctual, then what about gaining the wisdom of Brahma? Because that's the best time to understand and realize oneself and be healthy. That's why it's called Brahma Muhurta. So you should be awake slightly before, if not slightly before, at least on the beginning of Brahma Muhurta. That's why 4:30 or 4 o'clock is the best time to awake. If you have to be awake at 4, then you have to sleep by 10 in the previous night. If you have to sleep by 10, at least 6 hours of sleep is essential. If you sleep by 10, then you should have finished your dinner by 7:30 or 8, not beyond that, because at least 2 hours of gap is needed for a good amount of digestion. So இதை நம்ம எதுவுமே கடைபிடிக்கிறது, அதனாலதான் பிரச்சனை. ஏன்னா when we sleep, just assume this as a person, and the person is lying down horizontally. The heart rate gradually slows down. We know the normal heart rate is between 60 and 100. Of course, 72 is the average. Between 60 and 100, if it goes below 60, it's called bradycardia, and if it goes above 100, it's called tachycardia. But physiologically, when a person gets into the deep sleep, that to the last part of the night, what happens? The heart will be almost in a complete rest. The brain will say, oh my dear heart, you are working day and night so hard. Take some rest, but don't forget to pump. Pump it slowly. So heart வந்து அப்படியே ரொம்ப ஸ்லோவா துடிக்கும். Further, if you are sleeping, what happens? This will affect the function of heart in long run. இது ஒரு நாள்ல தெரியாது, 2 நாள்ல தெரியாது. When years progress, it will impact your health. It could be physical as well as mental health. Even the possibility of getting blocks in the heart could be the reason. So getting up in Brahma Muhurta is very essential. That's the first step. ஒரு விஷயத்துக்கு இன்னும் எவ்வளவோ பேசிட்டே இருக்கலாம். But as the time is concerned, I have to limit myself. So many things are there. Huh? So after getting up, Malotsarga, that is getting, voiding the feces, satisfying the urge, clearing the bowels. So இது முடிச்ச உடனே அடுத்தது வர்றது என்னன்னா oral hygiene. பல்லு விளக்குறதுனா நம்ம என்ன நினைச்சுப்போம், பல்லு விளக்குறது மட்டும் நினைச்சுப்போம். It's just not brushing teeth. There are 3 components in the oral hygiene. Number 1 is brushing the teeth. Number 2 is scraping the tongue. Number 3 is massaging the gums. Danta Davana, Jihva Nirlekana, and Danta Mamsa Garshana. So these 3 completes the oral hygiene, and it helps to have a healthy oral cavity. After this, they advise to go for yoga or whatever it may. At one stage they explain, but Ayurveda strongly recommends Abhyanga. When the person develops a hunger pangs-like feeling, it's a pseudo hunger, it's not the actual hunger. Unmiyana pasila adu varumbodhu, they should start doing Abhyanga, that is ennai kuliyal, massage, enna koti theikiradhu. Ayurveda recommends to go for oil massage every day. But unfortunately, we have kept it only on the day of Diwali. Diwali அன்னைக்கு மட்டும்தான். அதுவும் சாங்கீத்துக்கு ஒரு சொட்டு எடுத்து இப்படி வச்சுட்டு அப்படின்னு தேய்ச்சிட்டு உடனே குளிச்சிடுறது. No. It's so important that if you want to be healthy, you have to do massage every day. It's best. Of course, ஒரு சில exceptions இருக்கு. I can't go into detail which days you are not supposed to massage oil massage. Like for the women, especially during their menstruation, it's not advised. In certain diseased condition, it's not advised. Otherwise, for a healthy person, we are talking here only about a healthy person. Okay, so it is advised to take oil massage every day. What is the importance? Abhyanga machare nityam sa jara shrama vataha. If you listen to the benefits, you will start doing it from tomorrow. Aging will be postponed. Ilamaya irkalam, alaga irkalam. Okay, right? Abhyanga machare nityam sa jara. Old age varad, shrama. Body doesn't get tired. Vata diseases, neurological diseases will not occur. It will not affect. Drishti prasada pushtya, you will have a wonderful vision, and there will be a good amount of nourishment, and you will have a very long, healthy lifespan. Swapna sutakpada adyakriti. You'll get a very good, sound, peaceful sleep, and your skin gets toned up. If you think scientifically, skin is the largest organ in the body, and it is the most important barrier for so many pathogenic microorganisms that can cause disease. So, in order to keep that skin very healthy, we need this Abhyanga or oil massage. Just with a simple example, I can explain. You are buying a very good, costly Woodlands leather shoe. What you'll do, in order to maintain the life of that shoe, you put wax polishing, oil polishing, right? So it helps a lot. It helps a lot to improve the life of a shoe, the leather shoe. The same leather in the form of skin need to be taken care in the form of oil massage. So kandipa seiyum. Appa kekalam, என்ன டாக்டர் நீங்க சும்மா ரீல் விடுறீங்க, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நீங்க செய்யறீங்களா அப்படின்னு கேட்பீங்க இல்லையா? ஓகே, சோ இந்த மாசத்து கோட்டா gingerly oil is going to complete. More than 2000 oil massages has been completed in the last few years. At least ஒரு வாரத்துக்கு 5 முறை, வாரத்துல 7 முறை செய்ய முடியும். If I'm unable to do oil massage weekly 7 days, at least I'll do at least 5 days. It's more than enough. What I'm experiencing, I'm sharing it with you. It's so practical and it's so healthy to have oil massage every day. Of course, exceptions are there if you're having indigestion, if you're in menses, so you are not supposed to do. Or if you're having fever, you're not supposed to do. Otherwise, for a healthy person, it's mandatory to go for an oil massage. It's recommended for everyday practice. ஒரு சிலர் கேட்பாங்க, இல்லைங்க டாக்டர், சனி நீராடல் அப்படின்னு தான் தமிழ்ல ஔவையார் சொல்லி வச்சிருக்காங்க. அப்கோர்ஸ் சனிக்கிழமை நீராடுறது அட்லீஸ்ட் ஔவையார் கொஞ்சம் தெளிவாயிட்டாங்க. இவனுக்கெல்லாம் டெய்லி என்ன தேய்ச்சி குளிக்க சொன்னா குளிக்க மாட்டானுங்க, அட்லீஸ்ட் வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு நாளாவது குளிக்கட்டும், சனி நீராடல் மட்டும் வச்சுட்டாங்கன்னு. I'm going to give you some interesting fact now. Why, if not every day, at least once a week, that too on Saturday, we should have an oil bath? For this, you should understand why we have only 7 days in a week. என்னைக்காவது கேட்டிருக்குமா ஏன் வாரத்துக்கு 5 நாள் ரவுண்டா வச்சிருக்கலாமே? They could have made it in a very stable way of having 10 days in a week. For a week we have only 7 days. Why not 10? Why not 5? கேட்டிருக்குமா? இல்ல. Does anyone knows? No. Let me explain. Only 7 days because the planetary influence on each and every living entity on this earth will be dominated by two important things, that is sun and moon. It starts with sun, the first day. That's why it's called Sunday. Nyayiru means sun. In Tamil we call it as Nyayiru, and Malayalam also Nyayiru. If you go to Kannada, Karnataka, it will be Bhanuvara, which is again, Bhanu is the name for sun, and Adityavar. Hindi mein bolte hai na, Adityavar. It's sun. Aditya is the other name for sun. So the influence of sun will be there on every one of our body on a particular day, which is called Sunday. That's why Nyayiru. Then alternatively, it need to be balanced, right? Heat and cold should be balanced. So after a hot influence, the next day flows naturally with the help of the moon. Tingal means moon. Somavara, Somvar. Bolte hai na Hindi mein. Soma means moon. So the influence of moon will be dominant on every individual and giving its energy. So it's called Moon Day. At the Moon Day, they have removed one O, I think, so it has become Monday. Actually, it should be a Moon Day, right? Remember, it's a Moon Day, it's not Monday, because the influence of moon will be there on us. Again, on the third day, it is Mangalavar, Sevvai. The influence of Mangal or the Sevvai Graham will be there. But again, it is supported by the sun god. Again, where our body will be dominated by the Surya Nadi. So Sunday, our body will be dominated by the Surya Nadi activation. And on Monday, there will be a domination of Chandra Nadi. That's called Monday, Moon Day. And again on Tuesday, it will be Surya Nadi dominance. Wednesday, Buddhan, the planet Buddhan, Budhvar, Buddhan Graha, the planet will be influencing with the support of moon again, which is a cooling phase. So again on Wednesday, there will be dominance of Chandra Nadi. And Thursday, again, it will be the dominance of Surya Nadi. That is Guruvara, Vyalan Graham. Again, Friday, it is cooling. It is for moon. The moon, Chandra Nadi will be dominating. And on Saturday, again, Surya Nadi will be dominating. So this is the only day where Saturday and Sunday continuously 2 days, Surya Nadi is dominating, where we'll be losing maximum amount of energy during the Surya Nadi domination. So that's why Sunday is given as a holiday. Yeah, if you see, most of the world, we have Sunday as a holiday. The reason behind that is, after a long work throughout the entire week, the person needs rest. So after Saturday, if you have an oil bath, it helps to bring down the exhaustion, physical exhaustion, and regain the energy back. And on Sunday, you rest it so that from Monday, you can get back to work in a healthy way. That's why we have only 7 days a week, and we have Sunday as a holiday, and we have to take at least oil bath on Saturday. Of course, if you do every day, it's the best. If not possible, at least 5 days a week. If not, at least once a week. Not once in a Diwali that you dropping few drops on the head. No. And the best oil is Tila Taila, sesame oil. So if you look into all the languages, they call it as sesame oil or Yellanni, Malayalam Yellanni, Kannada Yellanni, Tilka Tel in Hindi, Tiloch Kathel in Marathi. So all the languages, they say it is Yellin Yennai, but only in Tamil, we say Nallanai. They are knowing that this is the best oil for the skin 5,000 years. That's the wisdom. Of course, I'm not degrading any others. ஒரு உண்மையான தமிழனுக்கு எது அழகுனா மற்ற இனத்தவரையும் மதித்து அவங்களோட மொழிகளையும் கற்றுக்கொண்டு அதே சமயம் தன்னுடைய பெருமையும் தாழ்த்தி கொள்ளாம அதை மக்களுக்கு தெரிவிக்கிறவன் தான் உண்மையான தமிழன் நான் நம்புறேன். So that's why it's because of this I was able to learn so many languages and it helps a lot. So in our language, in Tamil, they say it as nalla ennai, means good oil, the best oil for everything, for cooking, for massaging, so on. So if you use the best oil for massage is sesame oil. Of course, if I start speaking on sesame oil itself, I can, okay, what is the cold pressed sesame oil, how it should be, what is the revolutions per minute, what should be the internal temperature to extract the oil. It will be so detailed. Already it's 11:40. Okay, let's finish at least dinacharya today, the daily regimes. Okay. Next comes, after doing massage, what one should do? Vyayama, exercise. உடற்பயிற்சி கண்டிப்பா அவசியம். நம்மளுடைய கெட்ட காலம் மனிதர்கள் நடக்கிறத எக்ஸசைஸ்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. It's a part of daily routine that walking. It's not exercise. Exercise means sharira ayasa janakam karma vyayama, which is the one which exerts the body in a healthy way is called exercise, and walking may not be enough. You need more. Exercising is so healthy. But நம்ம மனிதர்களுக்கு என்ன, நல்ல அழகா இருக்கணும், 6 packs வேணும், ஆனா எந்த வேலையும் செய்யப்படாது. சாப்பிடக்கூடாதெல்லாம் சாப்பிடுவோம், be it all the rubbish, we don't do exert our body, we live a very sedentary lifestyle, but we need a very good shape. And those who can't maintain the good shape, then they nowadays in the recent centuries, body positivity, you know, that's for those who are lazy. You know, it's not that easy to be active. Of course, you know, say for example, this Atma is named Parthipan, and there are so many Parthipans inside, and one among that is a very active Parthipan, Surusurupu Parthipan. In order to bring that Surusurupu Parthipan inside, I have to sing every day morning when I get up at 3:15 in the morning. Surusurupe surusurupe vava, un valadu kaalai eduthu vaithu vava, kunam ninainda sarkuname vava, udal sombal pokathirundu vaithen vava. Only if I do Mangala Arati with a camphor and with a beetle water, then only the activity comes in. It doesn't come easily inside. We have to keep pulling every day. Apatha namma active irukka mudiyum. But so far as lazy Parthipan is concerned, I don't have to do anything. Just I wink my eye, it will get in. Konji adam kodutha podu apdi kannula oru kannu simuttuna podu udane somberithana ulla vandru. That should not happen. It's not only for me, it's for every one of you. You have to be active so that you can live a healthy life. See, there are 3 kinds of stress: eustress, distress, and astress. If you're sleeping till 8 or 10 or very, very bad lifestyle against the biological clock, then it is astress, it is unhealthy. If you're stressing too much, sleeping around 12 o'clock in the night and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it is distress. You are overstressing your body. Both are unhealthy. And most of the time, we call the stressful life. That stressing it is distress. But ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்கிறதுக்கு நம்ம ஒரு வகையான ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் தேவை. That's called eustress, essential stress. அது இருந்ததுன்னா மட்டும்தான் நம்ம ஆரோக்கியமா இருக்க முடியும். அப்பதான் சோம்பேறித்தனத்தை we can kick out the lazy part of us and we can bring the active part within, right? So doing exercise is very essential, and for that you need to take some eustress every day. And if you do exercise, you will be happy. There is a strong relation between exercise and happiness. When you do exercise, there are endotropic opioids and endotropic cannabinoids that get secreted within your body. You might have heard about opium, cannabis, marijuana, right? Ganja. அதெல்லாம் சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? It's a narcotic. ஏன் இதுக்கு எல்லாரும் மக்கள் அடிமையாகிறாங்க நிறைய பேர்? Why they are getting addicted? Because when they consume it internally, it gives a feeling of very happy, pleasant state. But it is an addiction. It harms your physiology and health. But the same thing, in a mild way, in a moderate way, you can achieve it by doing exercise. When you perform the exercise, you secrete a good amount of endotropic opioids, opioid-like substance, endotropic cannabinoids, cannabis-like substance within your body, which brings happiness. You can try it. If you do some physical activity, some sort of sports activity for a few days, you will feel some sort of happiness within you. You get a good amount of sleep. Your grasping power will be very good. So exercising every day is very essential. And that too, in moderation, it should be done. The undesired part of exercise is generation of free radicals, for which you have to take good amount of antioxidants in your diet so that it gets balanced. Otherwise, exercising every day is very essential for health. And so many things are there. Kannikku mai podrathu, eye salving, nasal dropping, and pan chewing. So many things are there in the daily regimes. Of course, due to the time constraints already, oh my God, it's getting close to 11:45. Okay, let me wind up by saying some more important things. Then after exercising, then you have to cool down your body, you have to go for a bathe. You have to bathe every day to be fresh and to be healthy. Snanam Vrishyamayushin, Deepanam Vrishyamayushin, Snanam Urja Palapradam. In order to enhance your appetite, your digestion, and in order to enhance your vitality, and then in order to improve your lifespan, bathing is very essential. Apart from removing the dirt, itching, and tiredness and thirsty, it helps to enhance your lifespan and improve your digestion. So bathing is very essential. And there are so many rules for bathing. Very important rule I'll explain to you. Ushnabuna adakayasya parisheko balavaha enaiva uttamangasa balakatkeshi chakshana. Taking a warm water shower for the body is healthy, and the same warm water shower for the head is unhealthy for the hairs and the eyes. So you should not shower with hot water for your head, but for your entire body, you can use warm water. And exception is summer season, you can go for cold water. Otherwise, it's better to have a warm water bath, right? Then pranama, prayers. Prayer you can do. It's very essential. It helps to make more confidence. Right from getting up from the bed, you can have a prayer, and after shower, you can pray. Before having food, you can pray, and just going to bed, you can pray. Say, for example, my prayer once I get up from the bed is Veya Haftali Veya Kamoha. It's taught by my student from Turkey. It's the original Hebrew version of the most valuable, important phrase from both Old Testament as well as the New Testament of Bible. Love thy neighbors as thyself. Anbe Shivam படத்துல கமலஹாசன் சொன்னதுதான். அதில் காமிச்சிருப்பாங்க. நீ உன்னை நேசிப்பது போல் பிறரையும் நேசி. So love yourself as well as love thy neighbors as thyself. And the ending prayer in between, after shower, I do Ganapati Pratana. Ganana Tva Ganapati Kum Havamahe Kavin Kavinama Vamashravastamam. So on, like so many prayers. And at the end of the day, I do the same prayer that Kamal did in Vishwarupam. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhabanna. Believe it or not, when you have a very strong, positive, good thoughts, and there is no harming attitude for any living entity in this world, you will experience an enormous amount of health in terms of physical, mental, social, and spiritual levels within few days once you start practicing it. So that's the importance of prayer, which is one among the daily regimes. So I just touched the most important part of the daily regimes. And we have seasonal regimes. As I said, certain seasons keeps on changing, and accordingly we have to shift our diet and regime pattern. And I'm going to highlight only the first season among the year as per Ayurveda, that is Shishira Rutu, the winter season, the late winter, the winter season. in terms of winter season, the digestion capacity will be very high. The basal metabolic rate, BMR, will be very high because of the cold environment. The internal combustion will be good, and the body will be capable of digesting the heavy foods during the season. So one should consume a heavy food during that season. And if you look into the diet that is advised during the winter season, they have said that consumption of payam ikshu kritim vasam tailam cha navodanam hemante abhyasatah toyam ushnam cha ayurna hiyate. So during the winter season, they have advised to go for navana pachirisi sadam. நம்ம பொங்கலுக்கு அந்த டைம்ல குளிர்காலம் தானே. So during the winter, you are supposed to consume freshly harvested and non-parboiled rice, pachirisi sadam, because it is very high in glycemic index and it is suitable for that season. நம்ம பொங்கலை எப்ப வேணாலும் செய்ய முடியாது. பொங்கல் சீசன்ல மட்டும்தான் பொங்கல் செஞ்சு சாப்பிடணும். இல்லைன்னா நமக்கு பொங்கல் வச்சிருவாங்க. Okay, so we have to be very careful. So it is healthy only for a healthy person. See, for diabetic, obviously even in winter you're not supposed to advise pongal, which is made out of pachirisi, freshly harvested rice, because of high GI, and cane sugar juice, high GA. All high GA valued foods are advised in the winter because of a good digestion power. And they've also strictly warned that taking very light food and inadequate food during this season is unhealthy. Okay. And apart from that, coming to so see how they had such a great knowledge. Apart from the winter season, if you look into all the other seasons, they have advised only for parboiled rice, pulungal arisi. Pulungal arisi means what they do, they harvest the paddy, they soak it in they dump the paddy in a huge vessel of water and boiling it for 60 degrees Celsius for a period of 1 hour, and then they dry it and then they dehusk it. The only thing is, when they do this, the rice looks a little bit dirty, little bit turbid, not pure white. We think that if it is pure white, it is healthy. No, it is not so. It is good. It is the best rice to consume throughout the year except the winter, pulungal arisi. Okay. And again, for those who are in the northern part of the world, godumai. That's why wheat grows in the northern part of India. As the area progresses close towards the equator, we need something cooling and nourishing carbohydrate. That's why we have plenty of rice in southern part of India, and also in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, and other countries that are close to equator. Rice grows plenty because Mother Nature knows எது யாருக்கு எப்ப கொடுக்கணுமோ கரெக்டா கொடுக்கும். நம்ம அதை மட்டும் உணர்ந்து சாப்பிட்டா போதும். There's a important saying by the Siddhar. One Siddhar, Adiyarku Adiyar from Ilangai, from Sri Lanka, taught me this hint, which is very beautiful. Pasittal pusi, viyarthal kuli, ayarndal tuyil. If you are hungry, eat. If you are sweated, shower, take a shower. If you are totally tired, take a nap or sleep if it's night. Just simply to say, listen to your body. Unfortunately, in this rat race world, hardly we listen to our body. We always listen to the environment. We doesn't listen to our body. That's the most unfortunate thing happening, right? Okay. So apart from the food, in the winter, they say agaru, paste application of agaru, to protect yourself from the winter cold climate. In the nights, they advise to apply a thick paste of agaru, Aquileria agloche, the drug. Of course, you are familiar. It's agarbatti. It is agarbatti. The agar is nothing but a drug from this plant only is derived. The incense sticks are prepared out of this drug. So this is the drug which is hot in potency, is to be applied so that the thick coating of this hot potency herb over the body helps to insulate the body from the external cold environment and keep us healthy. And after this, throughout, they explain about the food regimes, and each and every season they have focused on one part which looks funny or which looks certain. Number 2, urge for defecation, malam kalipadarku varum and the urge. Number 3, urination, urge for urination. Number 4, Udgara, Epam. Number 5, Shavatu, sneezing. Number 6, Tannir Tagam, thirsty. Number 7, hungry, pasi. Number 8, Vegana Darya, Vatavin, Mutra, Shavatrit, Shudam, Nidra, Tukam, Urakam Varumbuldu, rest edukum. Number 9, Kasa, Irmal, cough, coughing reflex. Number 10, Shrama Shvasa, Odi Vandana, you have, like, you have a deep breathing, like exerted breath. When you are breathing in exertion, out of exertion, you have to breathe. You should not forcefully control it. Okay. Number 11, Jrumba, Kottavi, that is yawning. Ashru, number 12, Ashru, that is tears. When you're deeply sad, the tears flow. Chardi, of course, I don't have to say. The 13th is, the last one is Chardi, vomiting reflex. The system knows something is getting, something wrong has got inside and it has to throw back. So when you feel to puke something out, you should support the body by drinking hot water with salt and puke it out so that your system will be happy. Unfortunately, we don't do it. What we do, we go to the pharmacy running, give me an antiemetic, domperidone, put it, then the body will say, this stupid fellow, he doesn't have the knowledge. I'm trying to bring the idiot nonsense toxic substance out of the body. This idiot has taken the antiemetic drug. Then what will happen? It will settle inside the body. It will get into the small intestine and it will get converted into diarrhea or dysentery. Again, the person will run to the pharmacy, get one norfloxacin, one loperamide, and one L-Dopa, and one lactobacillin, and then swallow it, arrest it before it gets exposed. Again, it will start circulating in the body. If you keenly observe, if you have a habit of suppressing the urge for puking, vomiting, within a few months, you will start developing the skin rashes. The histamine levels will go high in the blood and it will cause skin allergies and skin issues. So many things I can speak, but time is so concerned. So like this, there are 13 urges which should not be suppressed by males and females. And 14, there are certain natural urges which should be suppressed, which arises in our mind, like jealousy, greed, passion, prestige, ego, all those things, which I don't have to explain. You all know it, told in a good way. Okay, so this makes you free from disease. And last but not least, the fourth part, that is Indriyopakramaniyam, where regarding the knowledge about the senses and ethics, like practicing living a very moral life. That too in this Kali Yuga, if I say Neediya, Nermiya, Nyanaya, Nyayama, Nallamana, Yukka, Nenachale, Tappunada, and the Ulaga Thon. But still, I would like to bring the reference of a song from Boys. And the Boys La Sarigami song la, there is a song in Boys film, Sarigami, in that Pallaviya vitittu, the second Sharanam, if you look into Blade dan, Bodu dan, Kashtam dan, Nashtam dan, Irundalum, Adichi, Solvenda, Vetrikuru secret, Vetrikuru shortcut, Nermai dan. So being honest is the best policy. Honesty is the best policy, you all know. So that's about the moral practice. So when a person follows a daily regimes, a seasonal regimes, and doesn't suppress the natural urges and lives a moral, valued life, that person will be completely healthy. Thank you very much. Namaste. Vanakkam.
Thank you, sir, for your extraordinary talk. Shall we move on to the question session?
You're not audible, ma'am.
Shall we move on to the question session, sir? Am I audible?
Hello, you're not audible.
Sir, shall we move on to the question session, sir? Are we audible now?
Hello, ma'am.
Can you hear us, sir?
Clear?
No, I'm unable to hear you.
No? Can
Hello.
you hear us, sir?
Hello, sir. Are you able to hear me?
I'm unable to hear you.
I'm unable to hear any one of you.
You are audible.
Cut your speaker.
Yes, sir. We are
You
clear.
are audible, but you are not able to hear us.
Just hold on for a second. I'll just get my headphones so that I can.
Okay.
I maybe just.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a few seconds. Yeah. Hello.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah. Now you're audible a bit. Okay. I
Okay,
can.
sir. Shall we move on to the question session?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. From Dr. A. Subhashini, she's asking, is there any specific reason why women are asked to have our hair wash during Tuesdays and Fridays? In particular.
Actually speaking, these are all the recent statement. It is not actually so. We are supposed to wash the hair every day, actually speaking, because we are supposed to have an oil bath every day and we are supposed to wash the hair every day. Some intermediate, இப்போ சமீப காலங்கள்ல நிறைய misunderstanding and misconceptions has been evolved. Otherwise, only a woman is not asked to take shower, not even shower, தலை குளிக்கிறது மட்டும் இல்ல, not even bathing is not advised for a woman during menses. She needs complete rest and she is prone for infection during that phase. Only during that phase, no head wash or body wash. Otherwise, any day one can do it. Or even if they've said it on Tuesday and
Friday.
Tuesday and
Friday. Yeah. And she's also asking anyway related to reproductive health.
See, to some extent, Tuesday is okay because Tuesday is again the dominance of Surya Nadi will be there. And பெண்கள்னாலே நெருப்பு இல்லையா, கருப்புக்குள்ள நெருப்பு வச்சான்னு சாங்கே இருக்குல்ல, தீ. Of course, it is true, you know, Arthavam Agneyam. In Sanskrit, we call it as Arthavam Agneyam. That's why God has created ovaries within the body, embedded and insulated on the fat in adipose tissues, so that the ovary can function healthy. Ovary needs heat. Only then it can function normally. Of course, can I take few more minutes? I may a little bit deviate because I would like to explain this is very important because there are so many women listening to this session, right? Shall I go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, women need a good amount of working activity throughout the day, especially in a way that our ancient Indians did. அதாவது அந்த காலத்துல பெண்களை வந்து அடிமையாக்கணும்ட்டு சொல்லப்பட்டதுல பெண்களுக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்ட வேலைகள் எல்லாம் காலையில எழுந்து மலம் கழிப்பதிலிருந்து right from the beginning of the day, the women's the works that are assorted to the women's are right from the beginning of the day. They have to clean the floor, then wipe it, then put rangoli, kolam, and then cook everything. If you keenly observe, they on those days nowadays தொடப்பக்கட்டையும் பெருசாயிருச்சு, மாப் ஸ்டிக்கும் பெருசாயிருச்சு. அந்த காலத்துல எல்லாம் மண்டி போட்டு தான் தொடச்சாங்க. மண்டி போட்டு ஒரு துணியை வச்சு தொடச்சாங்க. They used to wipe with the cloth, not with the mop stick. All those activities throughout the day for a woman, they have designed on those days where in order to activate the reproductive organ of a woman, because it needs, the ovaries needs heat. அடிவயிறு அழுத்தம் கொடுக்குற மாதிரியான வேலைகள் எல்லாமே இருந்தது. They were so healthy. But unfortunately, அந்த practices எல்லாம் போனதுனால nowadays we have plenty of polycystic ovarian syndrome and polycystic ovarian diseases. And also in the standing kitchen concept வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் osteoarthritis of knee joint, மூட்டு வலி அதிகமா வர்றது, all these things are now more familiar with the women, which was not usually persisting on those days. Now coming back to your question, if Tuesday taking bath could be, to some extent, could be logical. Like in order to maintain the excess heat, in order to avoid the excess heat, probably. But I'm not getting any idea about Fridays. Otherwise, frankly speaking, what Ayurveda suggests is every day you are supposed to have bathe for both for head and body.
So next question is from Bhavani. She's asking, what is the time for taking oil bath?
The time for taking oil bath. Atajata annapaneshu abhyangam karoti. So after getting up from the sleep, after clearing the bowels and brushing the teeth and completing the oral hygiene, when the person will develop a mild hunger pangs, pasivaramari or feeling irukku, that is the best time to do abhyanga, morning hours.
Okay.
Next.
The next question is, what is the advice you would like to give for the people who work in IT fields with night shifts?
They should quit their job. That's the only option. See, until the invention of electricity, we were not working. We are diurnal creatures and we are not nocturnal creatures, and we have a circadian rhythm. We have a biological clock. Certain things should happen in certain time. And only when we sleep, deep sleep, only when we have a deep sleep, that too at night, a small inverted umbrella-like gland hanging in the posterior wall of third ventricle called pineal gland, which secretes a catecholamide hormone called melatonin. And this hormone is so important for our psychological health as well as physical health. And it doesn't secrete if we are working in the night. So night shift is not healthy. It's not at all healthy.
Okay, sir. The next question is from Bhavani. She's asking which water, be cold or hot, is good for her hair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for hair, it is neutral water. It is not ice chill water, neutral water, just tap water, which is whatever the temperature it is.
Okay. So the next question.
But even sometimes, because I had lived for about a couple of years in the hill station, at the time, what I used to do is I mix hot water with the ice chill water, because it's in hill station, it's damn cold, which is not healthy. So what I used to do, I just make the water neutral if it is extremely cold, neutral by mixing with sufficient quantity of hot water, and then pour it to the head for head shower. And for the body, warm shower or hot shower is always advisable.
Okay. The next question is, how many minutes or hour we went gargling the mouth with oil in the morning?
Yeah, it's called Gandusha and Kavala. There are two things in the daily regimen's practice, which I have not, because these are minor practices explained for healthy living. Gandusha is something where you hold the liquid in the oral cavity to its complete capacity for a stipulated period until you get some tears on the eyes, then you spit it out. And Kavala is something where you gargle, you fill half of the oral cavity and gargle the liquid. So it has to be done, Gandusha, as I said, just until the tears appear. And Kavala, you can do it for maybe a couple of minutes is more than enough. And again, according to the requirement you have to use, it's not always sesame oil. Even you can use decoction of some herbs, or simple hot water will do. According to the need, it should be done.
So the next question is from one of our participants. She's asking, her father underwent open heart surgery 5 months ago. Can he advisable for oil bath?
Yeah, of course. Why not? It is good.
Okay. The next question is, my relative said that every morning we want to shower in cold water to be more fresh. Is this true?
See, I'll explain this logically, because I'm a yoga practitioner as well. Ayurveda suggests that Ushnambuna Adakayasya, having a warm water shower in the morning, early morning hours, is healthy. And that too for the geographical locations which are more towards the northern hemisphere. If you get close to more of equator, it's damn hot. And that too, especially places like Chennai and all, it will be very humid and hot. in that places you can use neutral water, not ice chilled water. It's not healthy to have ice chilled water. Neutral water bath in the early morning is okay, fine. You don't need hot water. Mild warm water is good. Again, there are so many factors. A person of Vata Prakriti, the one who is very lean, emaciated, and dry, it's better they have warm water shower irrespective of geographical location. Age factor, body constitution, geographical location, season, so many factors influence the bathing. So accordingly, one should use. As per Ayurveda in general, to use warm water in the morning hours for bathing is advisable. But in certain areas like Chennai or something where highly humid and hot, you can use neutral water.
From Suganti, she's asking people who start early for work at 4 a.m. can they take oil bath every day? Why? Because they are exposed to chillness during their travel. Is it advisable to take bath during early morning? Can you suggest?
Yeah, that is fine. Again, see, this is a distress life. If you are working late night also, it is distress. If you're working too early also, distress. Hello?
Do you want me to repeat the question, sir?
Yeah, I know. I listen.
Yeah, it's,
like taking oil bath if they're going at 4 o'clock work. So if the work starts at 4 a.m., then the person will used to get up at 3 a.m. or before. And the span of time that is there for doing all the daily regimes is very inadequate. So, of course, again, you have to think about the profession and the working time. But still, the person can have oil bath every day. Hello?
Sangeeta, are you there?
Sir,
from
can you hear me,
Manimuri,
sir?
she's asking, it has been for, yeah. Are you hearing me, sir? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you're audible now, Sangeeta. You're audible now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, from Manimuri, she's asking, it has been followed since ancient time for women to take head bath on all their menstrual days. Is it really necessary? Does it have any impact?
I've answered this question already. During the menstrual period, during the bleeding phase of menstruation, a woman is not allowed to take shower. She's allowed to rest. She's allowed to stay in a single room separated from the family, so as she is prone for infection. That's why she's not allowed to enter the temples or any public gathering which is prone for getting infected. It's not தீட்டில அவங்க தீட்டு கிடையாது, அவங்களுடைய பாதுகாப்புக்காக சொல்லப்பட்டதுதான் அந்த விஷயம். I think so. I answered the question.
Sangeeta, are you there?
The next.
Whether my answer was clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the next question is this from Anusha Balasingh.
Hello.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful
Next question is from Dr. S. Nandini.
One of you. Yes, okay, go on. One of you.
Yes.
Okay, sir, let me continue. The question is from Anusha Balasingh. Thank you for a wonderful presentation with enlightening thoughts, sir. One question is, washing hair in the late evening and night is advisable after our job?
After?
After the job, after they go for the job.
Yeah, it is advisable. See, whenever your body is filled with dirt and sweat, it is advisable to take a shower. In summer, it is advisable to shower more frequently. Of course, you don't have to use soap or anything else. You can just pour the hot, cold water on your body and then just dry it out and come. So whenever, that's why I said, Pasital pusi, viyartal kuli. Whenever you feel tired, whenever you have sweated out, you can have shower.
So personally, I have a
The next
doubt.
question is
Actually, every time when they take head bath with hot water, very hot water every day, or no, whenever they take bath, will it affect the nervous system?
Yeah, I've said it already. Bathing hot water for the hair, for the head, will reduce the strength of hairs, scalp hairs, and the vision, eyesight. So it is advisable to take neutral water bath for head.
Sankita, go ahead.
ways to strengthen.
Hello.
Hello, it's not audible.
Okay, so the question is from Byron Muttu. Could you please explain food items that can be taken daily, irrespective of place, etc.?
Very good question. Thanks for this question and reminding me. षष्टिकांशालिमुद्गांश्च सैन्धवामलकेयवान् आन्तरिक्षं पयः मधुसर्पिः चाङ्गलं चार्यसे. So, irrespective of season, sex, age, body condition, geographical locations, there are 10 food substances explained 5,000 years ago in Charaka Samhita for healthy living. They are as follows. Shashtikan, the rice that is grown in 60 days, which is nothing but Mapala Samba. We call it as Mapala Samba in Tamil. In Malayalam, we call it as Navara rice. In Sanskrit, it is Shashtika Shali. There's the first one. Number 2, Shali, Rakta Shali. That's the red rice, red boiled rice that they use it in Kerala. That's really good. Of course, it includes the brown rice, which is Pulungal Arasi. It is also healthy. Number 2, Mudga, green gram, mung bean, pasi payir is good. Chikan Shali Mudgam. Saindava, Indupu, rock salt. Sainda Namak, it's good. Amalaka, Amla, Nellikai, you know, the best antioxidant activity, what we have found it in our labs, in our lab is Nellikai. It is the best anti-aging and the best rejuvenating and anti-aging substance one can have. If it is seasonal, you can have it fresh. If not, the powder of it, you can have it. That is Nellikai, Indian gooseberry Amla. Yavan, barley. Barley is good. Only thing is you have to break it and cook it so that it becomes easy for cooking. Yavan, Amalake Yavan. Antariksham Payaha. That is, rainwater is the best for drinking. And of course, today we have reverse osmosis water, which is okay. Or good healthy water. Antariksham Payaha. Sarpihi, cow's ghee is really good for health. Madhu, honey, is really good for health. Again, ghee can be consumed little bit more, and honey, very small quantity. And again, a lot of influence will be there. The one who is plumpy needs to reduce the ghee and increase the honey. And the one who is lean needs to increase the ghee and reduce the honey, like that. And Antariksham Payam Madhu, Sakhi, Jangalam. And the last, they are, when all these are not advisable, not available, the last, they are giving the option of meat, that is meat from dry deserty lands, is suitable for health throughout the year. So these are the dietary regimes and food materials that are advised in Ayurveda for complete health. If you keenly look into this list, there are 10 substances explained right from the rice till the dry deserty land animal meat. If you keenly observe, they had a beautiful idea of balanced diet. You need carbs. Balanced diet, we know. Energy producers, body builders, and body regulators. Under the energy producers, we have carbs, that is glucose, and fat. We have carbs in the form of rice and the boiled rice and the rice grown in 60 days, and fat in the form of the ghee, as well as in the form of the meat. Then energy produces protein in the form of mung bean, pasipayre, and also in the form of meat. Then coming to the body regulators. Under body regulators, we have two categories. There is water and under the body regulators, we have vitamins, minerals, and water. So we have water in this list, and we have plenty of vitamins that are available in the rice, as well as in honey, as well as in amla, vitamin C, and so on, and also micronutrients. You know one thing, Sainda namak or Sainda lavana or rock salt or indupi is because best for the health, because out of the 90 essential trace elements that is required for the humans to be healthy, more than 80 trace elements are available in rock salt. So it is the best salt to have the needed micronutrients in our food. I hope I answered.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to HOD, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I am very happy to deliver the vote of thanks today. I thank the speaker of the day, Dr. Parthiban, consultant physician,
Thank you.
Marudam Integrated Healthcare, Coimbatore. Thank you, sir, for your elaborate lecture on Hitayu. You also touched about Ahitayu, Sukhayu, and Dukhayu. I think Dukhayu was not covered. It was...
Yeah, Dukhayu is correct. It is there. Dukhayu is, because if we aim for Sukhayu, obviously we should be ready to accept the Dukhayu as well, because both are complementary to each other. It's like a pull and push of the same door. The more you pull the happiness, the equal amount of sadness will be coming behind.
Thank you so much for such an elaborate lecture today, sir. Being the last day of the webinar series, I would like to thank all the other speakers also. The webinar series on alternate therapy, a way of living, was organized by the Department of Microbiology from 25th to 29th of May 2020. The first speaker was Dr. Y. Deepa. Madam spoke about yoga and naturopathy. The second speaker, Dr. A. Rajendra Kumar, sir spoke about healthy living through Siddha traditions. The third day, Dr. Nargis Wahab discussed the secrets of acupressure and acupuncture, and she also touched about pranic healing. The fourth day speaker, Mr. Venkataraman M, enlightened about us about pranic energy healing. And today's speaker, Dr. N.K. Parthiban, shared his views on Hitayu, a way of living. I take this opportunity to thank the management and our principal, Dr. S. Kodai, the vice principal aided Dr. D.B. Usharani, and the vice principal self-supporting Dr. T. Usha Priya for all their support and encouragement. I thank the participants for their enthusiasm and patient listening. The participants belong to the teaching fraternity, as well as the student participants are also there. Along with them, we have participants from the general public also, who showed a lot of interest about alternative therapy. I'm very happy about that. Thank you, participants, and thank you for your patient listening. And a few participants used to log in every day at around 10:30 itself, half an hour prior to the start of the meeting. Thank you for your enthusiasm.
And,
I thank... Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. Sorry for the interruption. And
yes, sir. Please go ahead.
In this occasion, I thank the organizers, the organizing committee, for giving me such a wonderful platform, a virtual platform to express my views. And I'm just a tool expressing the views of our great ancient sages. And because I feel it's totally incomplete, I just touched a very, very speck of the speck among the speck. So the subject is so vast. And if you are interested, if the organizing committee is interested, they can have frequent sessions of on Ayurveda, on health talks, and I'll be glad to join and help and spread the knowledge of Ayurveda and lifestyle. Because it should not be like a WhatsApp message. You know, WhatsApp, you get
Yes.
thousands of health tips blindly.
Sure.
And out of 100 only it works for 10 people, and it will be producing a lot of undecided adverse drug reaction for the rest. So that should not happen. So if possible in the future, because I see the enthusiasm in the organizers and committing themselves for such an alternative therapies. Of course, it should become a mainstream of therapy. It was a mainstream of therapy once in a while. So if possible, they can make a group who are really interested, who wants to learn something about their life and very particular about their health. You can make a group, and I can help to, you can coordinate, and I'll be able to deliver health talks, because we can take small topics once in a while, once in a week or so, and then we can share the knowledge. And the most important thing is they have to put it in practice. Otherwise, it's of no use. It's just like going to a museum and looking at, oh, it's nice, it's very informative, it's so good. Just by saying, அதாவது நான் நிறைய சொல்லலாம், சொன்னதுனால மட்டுமே எல்லாருக்கும் ஞானம் வந்துருமான்னு கேட்டா கண்டிப்பா கிடையவே கிடையாது. Only when you put it in practice, it is possible to feel and experience the benefits, and for which you may come across so many obstacles, and on and off we can have meetings, and I'll be able to help you to identify the lacunas and overcome and have a healthy living. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Surely we'll get back to you regarding this. I now thank my teammates for their exemplary work. Starting from the organizing secretary, Dr. G. Sangeetavani, I thank her for her meticulous planning and careful execution of the work for and during the webinar. Dr. C.V. Vidya for her technical know-how and support. I thank the other members of our team, Dr. V. Gayatri, Dr. C. Ganga Bahirati, Dr. A. Subhashini, Dr. Anusha Balasingh, Dr. S. Nandini, Dr. Lynette Navina, Dr. Mary Sheila, and Dr. Reena. Thank you for lending a helping hand and for your coordination for the smooth conduct of the event. Thank you, teachers. I wish to thank our revered founder, Shri V.L. Etharaj, for creating this platform of teaching and learning. And I finally thank the Supreme God for all the mercies and blessing during the webinar series, for not having any interruptions during the meetings, and thanks for the internet connections also. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, regarding your e-certificate, we will be sending the link through your registered mail ID. Kindly fill the form and you will receive a certificate. If any queries, kindly mail to us. I thank our HOD, Dr. K. Krishna Pema ma'am, and